brings in a lot of challenges to IT. IT now has to think before they bring in a project or a service to their end users, that how would they manage the data on all these devices? How would they manage security? How would they manage control on the IP or intellectual property of a company? They don't want a user to use an IT service from their personal device, and then there could be security threats around that. They want to keep the environment very, very secure and locked and controlled, whereas the user is asking for freedom. The IT is struggling to understand how would they manage so many different type of devices. Any which ways in today's corporate environment, IT is always low budgeted. They are under tremendous pressure to perform more or to deliver more with less. So to manage more different type of devices and platform and application will any which ways only gonna add to the overheads on IT, and they would have to increase the cost to manage such operational environment, which is again a challenge IT face today. So in general, whenever we come across situations like this, and IT respond back in a very, very typical standard way, the three most common responses which we have observed are either you ignore the change, you ignore the ask or the freedom which the user is asking, which will lead to a poor IT control. You ignore any kind of security measures, you don't put in any control, and that will lead to poor IT control, which could be a lack of security and compliance in your environment. The other way is I become so stringent as an IT guy that I don't allow any change in my environment. That would make my environment very rigid, and that's not a flexible environment, which would lead to a poor end user experience. The workforce would be unhappy, which would in turn impact business because the productivity may go down. The third possible solution, or the most commonly seen, not a solution but a common response which is seen, is that IT goes ahead and brings in a lot of point solutions in the environment. So if I have environment A, I would have a point solution A to manage that environment. If I have environment B along with environment A, I would have another point solution just to manage environment B. So I would then create silos of independent, loosely coupled, not integratable point solutions in my environment, which will make it a complete management mess. And that would make my job even tougher over a period of time. So what is the solution to this problem, where we can give the user freedom of using a device of his own choice and still access the corporate services in terms of application and data from anywhere, anytime, but at the same time give a control to IT to manage and secure everything from a central location? Well, the idea to address this problem is being given by VMware in a new approach, which allows you to centralize all these services now inside your private cloud and let you deliver these services in a customized and controlled fashion with full security and compliance in check using a central broker service. Let's understand what the solution is in little more details. So VMware offers something called as Horizon Suite, which is a suite of products and solutions which allows you to move the services running on your physical PC today, which is your application, which is your data, which is your desktop operating system. It allows you to move all these services inside your data center, and then with a controlled and a managed environment or a broker in between, it allows you to deliver it to different kind of end devices, which is of end user choice. This Horizon Suite comprises of three subcomponents called as Horizon Mirage, Horizon View, and Horizon Workspace. Horizon Mirage addresses all the concerns related to a physical PC or a desktop. So there may be organizations, there may be enterprises who would not like to give their end user any choice but to still use their existing physical PCs. They might have already made investments into physical PCs and they want to continue with them till the time they hit the refresh cycle. And to manage these physical PCs, you need to have a central service which Horizon Mirage offers you. Along with that, a lot of organizations are moving toward a concept called as VDI, or Virtual Desktop Infrastructure, where your desktop is actually forklifted from your physical PC and is moved inside a data center. It is a virtualized instance of your desktop environment with all your application and data hosted inside the virtual instance, and you, from an end user perspective, can pick up any device, which could be a mobile device, which could be a tablet or an iPad or even a thin client for the matter of fact, and use that to access a virtual desktop. And the third piece of the leg is Horizon Workspace, which is like the nirvana stage. It's like I have a device of my own choice, which may be a corporate provided device or could be a device of my own, and I can still access my data, my application, without even logging inside my desktop. Imagine I give you the flexibility that you can launch your application, which you use within the desktop today, from any device without even accessing your desktop, physical or virtual. That is what Horizon Workspace offers to you. Let's go a little more deep under the hood and see how all these things work. So Horizon View, let's discuss Horizon View, which is the VDI solution, in more details. As I said earlier, it allows you to unlock your physical PC. We go ahead and break the lock between the operating system and the physical PC and move the content of your physical PC, which is your operating system, your desktop, your persona, and we move it inside your data center where all these operating system instances run as a virtual machine. They are hosted on VMware's most known virtualization platform of vSphere. Your desktop runs as virtual instances over vSphere, and they are delivered to your end user through the private cloud, which is hosted centrally inside the data center on a device of their own choice. So now I may be a user who has a MacBook, for example, or a thin client, or a PC or an Android device. I can still access my Windows operating system from a device I carry today, which may be a Windows or a non-Windows device. What, in a nutshell, are the benefits we attain from VDI? Well, the benefits are not just end-user flexibility, but from an IT perspective, if you see, there are a lot of benefits which VDI brings to the table. The first and foremost is security and compliance. Imagine, because now everything is running inside your data center, inside your controlled boundary of data center, nothing leaves your data center, everything is secure and containerized inside your walls, inside your private cloud. Nothing runs on end-user PC. All the end-user device is used is to access this virtual instance, but the virtual instance is actually running inside the corporate parameters, which makes it much more secure than running all the services on the end client itself. Obviously, from end user perspective, it offers much more flexibility because now you have anywhere access of your desktop services. You also have business agility because now the business is very flexible to adopt new technologies. Today I have given users PC. Tomorrow I want to move to BYOD, where I ask the user to bring their own devices, and then I may reimburse them for some amount of it, but then I can bring a device of my own choice and I can still access my same desktop experience, same desktop which I use on physical environment, and I get the same experience. So the user is happy because he gets all his services to work with. He may be traveling, he may be working from home, he may be working from any device, but he can still access all his services as he does today. So that forms a platform for BYOD, and obviously that brings in a lot of operational savings. Now I don't have to deploy a large workforce to manage physical dump PCs. I can actually use the same workforce to do some more innovative tasks and more innovative jobs rather than just running around an organization and hard fixing PCs. Because everything is a virtual instance, they can be fixed very, very dynamically and very, very easily. You don't really need to run anything on the end device. Your end device could be very, very dumb terminal, which brings in a lot of capex and operational savings. Let's go ahead and talk about Horizon Mirage, which is the second offering of the umbrella. Horizon Mirage allows you to do a similar task and give you the same benefits what you achieve from VDI, but in a physical desktop environment. For all practical purposes, we cannot have 100% of our end user workforce virtualized and give them virtual desktop. For all practical purposes, we would have still an X amount of people in our organization, which could be contract employees, which could be, let's say, high-end graphical workers or 3D application R&D teams and stuff like that, which may not want to be virtualized and given a virtual desktop instance, but they still want to work on a physical PC or a workstation, which they do today. For managing those physical PCs and physical solutions, I have different point solutions, but then it becomes again difficult to handle so many point solutions to do different tasks with that PC. So for example, if I have to do patch update and management of the operating system, I have one solution. If I want to do a driver library management, or if I want to do asset management, I have another solution. If I want to do migration from XP to 7, I have another solution. But what Mirage brings to the table is a fantastic technology which allows you to manage your entire physical PC in a layered format. What it does is it breaks or logically breaks your physical PC image into multiple layers. The layers comprises of a driver layer, a OS layer, an application layer, a data layer, a profile layer, and all these layers or the entire desktop image in a layered format is actually kept as a compressed image inside your data center. So your user still execute all the operation on the physical PC as he does today, but I can still manage that PC in a layered format from sitting from a remote location from a centrally management console. I can manage each and every layer separately and individually without doing any kind of physical touch management on my PC. So just to give some examples, if I have to, let's say, migrate my physical PC from a OEM A machine to OEM B machine, I today have some PCs which were from OEM A in my environment, and I want to do migration to a different OEM PC because the previous machines are going out of refresh cycle or hitting the refresh cycle. I can use Mirage to migrate the entire desktop content from PC A to PC B, but still manage the driver layer and swap it while migration from OEM A drivers to OEM B drivers. Or let's say I give you another example, a very, very commonly used or known use case today. We all know so many organizations today are running Windows XP still in their environment. But as we all know, Microsoft has announced a deadline for XP support. It's gonna be over sometime next year in April. So a lot of enterprises are looking for solutions to migrate from XP to 7, which is like the key project by itself in it. XP to 7 migration in a traditional way would involve a lot of steps. You need to take a backup of the end user, you need to reimage the machine with the new operating system, restore the applications, restore the data, and you have to do this task for every user by itself. So if you have a large organization and a large user base, imagine the IT guy has to do this for every user. It will take weeks, months to finish this task. It's a project by itself and not as easy as it sounds. However, with Horizon Mirage, you can centrally do this for all your local as well as remote user without even touching your physical PC. You can do something we call it as in-place upgrade of XP to 7 without taking any backup of the data. You can remotely push in the Windows 7 files and applications to end user. The best part is the user would not even know that their machine is undergoing a migration process. They can continue using their machines as they do on a daily basis, and in the background Mirage will copy the content which it needs to migrate from XP to 7 and prompt the user to do a reboot. When a user does a reboot, that is the only downtime which a user faces from XP to 7 migration in this entire process. And during the downtime or during the reboot, the PC would automatically be upgraded to Windows 7. All the user profile would be migrated from XP to 7, and when the user logs back in after the minimal downtime, he would be logged into a Windows 7 environment with his application and data intact and untouched. So it's like a remote zero-touch PC management. So I gave you a few examples of driver management. I give you an example of operating system management. In the same way, I can do application management. I can do remote break fixing of applications using Mirage. I can go ahead and take a backup of my entire PC, and in case of any disaster of my physical PC, let's say my PC got stolen or broken, I can restore the entire content of my PC to another physical machine or to a virtual instance. So what Mirage offers to me in a nutshell are some critical benefits which today no one single point solution offers you. So I can manage my physical PCs, my laptops, my workstations to perform tasks like automatic Windows 7 deployment or a backup and restore of my PC in a DR situation. I can do remote break fixing, which saves me a lot of operational expenses, and I can also do a central image management, which is a key requirement for compliance. I can have a common image of which is my standard SOA image, and I can have that image deployed to all the physical PCs in my environment. And last but not least is Horizon Workspace, which allows you to access all your desktop services from any device of your